Hey, everybody. Welcome to 420 Live. Jeff Kravitz coming to you from the East Coast. We're doing a first East Coast 420 Live. I've been resistant because it's in the middle of the beach day, but here I am. It's Sunday. It's the anniversary of Jerry Garcia passing. I was checking to make sure my fly was up. Jerry Garcia passing. And, Jerry, we miss you. It's been an adventure. 25 years without Jerry, all the different incarnations we've had now of people celebrating the Grateful Dead and their music, and us flounders, us have fishies out there. I'm wearing a little Dead and Company shirt today. I'm flying some freak colors for our friends all out there celebrating. If you've been watching the Rex Foundation's amazing feed with performances all week long, they've done an amazing job, and I'm really honored that the people at Rex Foundation and Backline invited me to come in and do this. This all started with the thing I did with Jay Blakesberg. We did this interview with Shirley Halperin for Variety, and the article came out a couple days ago, and it was a great read. I think 2 days ago, actually, an interview with Jay Blakesberg and myself talking about shooting the Grateful Dead and what it was like. And it's just so interesting to see the perspective of, what you've been through and what it was like, and to read about it after you've talked your story and told your story, and then to read it back to you, you start believing your own press. So I believe my own press. It was good press. And I hope everybody's enjoying their summertime. And, we celebrate the Grateful Dead every day. I mean, I'm listening. Jerry is constantly on somewhere in my day for an hour or two. I'm always listening to music. People are always complaining. My mom came over the other day and she's like, "Are you always listening to music?" And I said, yes. So I am always listening to music. And if you can read, Shirley is chirping in from Variety, and you can read all of the Jerry coverage from this week right there, variety.com, Jerry-Garcia. So if you're watching, that link is in the Facebook feed there. And if not, you can't miss it. I shared the story today, the final piece de resistance, where they talked to the people that worked with Jerry and knew Jerry and what it was like when he left and they were left to flounder. Speaking of flounders, they would flounder around trying to figure out what the next step was for the Grateful Dead. And everybody seemed to find their way eventually. And, it's interesting. The Grateful Dead music is getting turned on to new generations. John Mayer definitely has affected the crowd. I'm sure, I wonder what it was like to be a John Mayer fan and go to your first Dead and Company show expecting to just watch John Mayer do his thing all night, and then seeing like that whole scene, I'm sure. And then someone saying, "Here, do you want a Altoid? Would you like to have some curiously strong breath?" Anyway, we honor Jerry. I'm excited to be part of the stream. It's they're on right now. Do you want to check out and see what they're doing? Hold on, let's see. We can add it to the stream. Add it to the stream. Oh wait, I have to give it a little volume now, don't I? Because I have it muted. This is what they're doing right now. Like building a ship in a bottle. Like rowing a boat on the open sea. All right, we're gonna get to more of that. I do sing, but my voice doesn't sound that good, so I will not be singing for you today. But together, we're gonna sit and have a little watch party here at 420 Live and watch my interview with AJ Masthay. You will know AJ's work as soon as you see it come up, just as I did. They're like, "Interview AJ Masthay," and I looked at his work and I'm like, "Oh God, this gentleman's work is everywhere." Everybody's a kid when you're an old man. Hey, kid, you're doing great. But we're going to take a look at AJ's work. And, I've been reflecting a lot on my life being here in New Jersey, back in Margate now for almost a month, and all the different steps I took, and how I turned my nose up to the Grateful Dead when I was in high school, and all my friends were the Deadheads, and they'd be like, "Oh, look at the Deadheads over there. We had the Deadheads over there. We had the Jocks over there." Everybody was in a different group, and I was kind of the guy that didn't want to really align myself with any groups. I had the Club of Kravitz. I was the only member, and I was fine with that, and I made a lot of friends. I had my things that I did. I was into the television production, which really paid off, as you can see, and doing my photography when I started as a junior in high school. So there was other things I was involved with, and I loved music. It was just very prog rocky, and I was like, the Dead songs were still part of growing up. I heard them. I knew them. It wasn't a thing of that. I just didn't find the sense of fandom that I came to until I was almost 30 years old. And it was 1992. And I could see the band getting older in front of me. And I was like, I have to see as much of this as I can, because I realized that Jerry was not going to be here. Even at 50, when I saw him at 49, 50 years old, maybe 48 years old, he was not looking as good as, he did in the past. And, I have a lot of friends now, 48, I'm 58. And, I feel like I look 50 years younger than Jerry when I look at pictures of him. I feel like I'm looking at an old man. So it's really hard. So, yeah, I'll go Kay Clayton. Yeah, Flock of Seagulls. I'm not saying I didn't like, that was after first prog rock. And then I liked What Was Ever Hot. There's Hillary. Hi, Hillary. Thank you for having me, Hillary. We're excited. We got 4 minutes till we're about to go live, I think. I got the stream down here on the bottom, so I'm keeping an eye on it. Yes, I loved punk and new wave. Make no apologies. Talking Heads, when I was 16, I heard Fear of Music. The stuff I was into was the stuff that was fresh and hot off the presses. And I admit that. And even when I moved to Los Angeles, it was Nirvana and Guns N' Roses. It was like anything that was coming out across my MTV that I was latching on. And Britney Spears. I mean, I admit to being a huge Britney Spears fan. Yeah, sure. A lot of Rolling Stones, a lot of Bob Marley. I liked all the classic rocks. You can hear the planes pulling the signs right here. What's that one for? Probably for one of our presidential candidates. Wham! Yes, of course. Pick me up before you go, 'cause I'm living a life that's so low. Is that right? Did I get that right? Someone will tell me. But yeah, I like the classic rock. I like the new wave. I liked everything that was coming out that was hot and it was fun. And I just, I liked LSD and I liked shrooms and I liked psychedelics and I liked electric Kool-Aid acid test. I read that when I was a kid. I was into Ken Kesey. I was into the Bus. I was into all that. And then it just took me a while to piece it all together. But you know what? I got it. And I got it when Jerry was still on the planet. And Jerry and I had our meetings on the treadmill. I believe I talk about that in the article in Variety. And I also probably touch on my meetings with Jerry in the show that's about to come up. My two run-ins with Jerry on the treadmill at the Four Seasons in Seattle, which is still, my friends all still bring that stuff up to me. Kravitz, what about the treadmill story? You should tell that. But it's been a unique existence, and I found the Grateful Dead when I needed to, and it was perfect, and it led to me discovering Fish, and Fish led to Bonnaroo, and Bonnaroo led to Outside Lands, where I would be right now with all my friends out there in Golden Gate Park. A shout out to all my friends at Another Planet and Superfly and Red Light Management and everybody we would see out there in the park this weekend. It's like I always say, a constant theme on the show is the hole where music goes, which is right here. It's right above your heart. In between your heart and your throat is where the hole where music goes. And it's a big hole, and we fill it however we can, and we used each other to help fill the void. So we have about a minute left before we're going to go into this rec show. And yes, Hillary, it was perfect, and I wish we were at OSL too. Hillary Gleason from Backline, very instrumental, working very hard all week, month on this event at least. So I appreciate all the hard work from all of our friends. Like I said, I had my friends from Ashers come by today, and I got a whole bunch of new chocolate bars. So my friends here in Margate are chomping on them. I had to drop one off to Mom, and she's like, "What does a CBD do? I don't feel it." And I was like, "If you want to feel it, Mom, I'll bring you a couple gummies, but CBD, you don't feel it." So anyway, all my friends out here, I don't know if I'm going to come back afterwards. I might. If a lot of you are hanging out, I'll come back and we can chat for a little bit. If not, I'm going to go plunge in the ocean before my dinner with my friend Drew Katz and his family. So I'm really looking forward to that. And he said, "Are you allergic to any food requirements?" It has to be good food, Drew. So I'm expecting a great hang with my friends. And send us a chocolate bar. It's not that easy. I send the chocolate bar from here. It's going to get all melty. It'll come to you. It'll be like chocolate milk with M&Ms in it. But the unique thing about the chocolate bar is we can change it every time we make it because it's handmade. So I think what we're going to start doing with the chocolate bar is changing up the flavor profile. This will be the first edition. My brother's like, "I want a dark one." So I know people like dark chocolate out there. I got you, Hillary. Don't worry. You cover you up with chocolate. He's going to drop it all on top. Melty chocolate coming your way. I am watching the feed. We're still picking and plucking on there. So as soon as it's a live feed, or their feed is a lot of stuff all day long. So as soon as we go live, I will take you there and you'll see my little interview and my presentation. It's just more of me talking like this, but with AJ Masthay, and he's really a smart guy and very talented. So I really look forward to seeing it. I haven't seen it since I taped it. And, I don't really tape many interviews, but this is the kind of thing they can't have all my technical flubs and screw ups that I usually have here, lose internet, hit the wrong button to take myself out of the interview, or, they'll lose power and the whole thing goes off. I've done it all. Yeah. See, maybe I could do a chocolate bar by vote where everybody be like, okay, what do you guys want in my next trash bar? It has to have this many things in it, and I kind of want to do a non-CBD version for the kids, but I think the kids need the CBD. It'll help with their with their stuff. Yeah, I am going to do a golden ticket. We're going to do a golden ticket. I don't know what I'm going to give away though, so I have to figure out what's the a tour of my Santa Monica office would take about 90 seconds. I guess once you start looking at all the stuff on the wall, it gets a little bit more attractive. So. Yes, 420 live. Is it on? Oh, here we go. Yeah, we're adding it to the stream. Bye, kids. We'll see you in a little. To honor Jerry Garcia on the 25th. Today would be the 25 years ago Jerry left our earthly plane to move on to the next grand experiment. And Jerry touched a lot of people in many ways. He's been a total inspiration to me in my life, and just the way he operated and the way he created an entire scene that has gotten even bigger in his loss, or with his loss. It's become even more of a thing. If you don't know who I am, I'm Jeff Kravitz. I was photographer for Getty Images. And I photograph the dead occasionally here and there. I spend a lot more time dancing than I did shooting shows. The Grateful Dead helped me get in touch with the musical side of my photography and really into loving and the spontaneity of what was happening on stage. I was working with MTV. It was very formulaic. The things I was seeing on stage, it was very predictable. And I was looking for something that touched me in a different way. And I didn't get into the Dead in high school like a lot of my friends did, or even in college. I didn't get into the Dead until the early 90s when my roommate finally dragged me to my first Dead show at the Los Angeles Coliseum. And, it was interesting enough for me where I went to Cal Expo a couple weeks later. Bill Graham handed me an apple. Some big wook gave me a hug. And I was like, I think these are my people. So ever since, it's been a love relationship with all things Grateful Dead, and led me into a career of shooting with jam bands, Bonnaroo, Fish, all the different things that I've done in my life. So it's been absolutely incredible to be able to have that experience. And I've seen Garcia 65 times. I know the exact number. And I met him twice at the Four Seasons in Seattle when they were playing there in 94, I believe, on the treadmill, believe it or not, 2 days in a row. And we had great conversations both times. We talked about a half an hour each time. And Jerry was very gracious. He answered any question, almost any question. He really didn't want to talk about the teleprompters in those days, but he was amazing. And we talked about Dark Star, and we talked about St. Stephen, and we talked about all the songs that I loved and all the things I wanted to hear. And that night I went to the show and I actually shot Jerry from the pit. Not shot, but, photographed Jerry from the pit. And it was interesting to be, I could see him give me the look, when I was up there. Like, is that the guy? Is that look I talked to in the gym today? But he was really, really great. And I'm really glad I had a chance to talk to him, because a lot of people, he had this big mystique, and it was always like, Jerry, hey, there's Jerry. And that's what we kind of said when he walked into the locker room. I was with two other guys who were also at the shows that I had met. And there's Jerry. And he came in wearing his members only jacket, and he took it off and hung it up on the hook. And I brought him a pineapple juice. We talked. It was really special. It's what you think what's going to happen when you meet somebody like that, a hero of yours or somebody you're inspired by. And, you know, I've had the good fortune of meeting many people over the years in many different situations, from Beatles to Rolling Stones to all the guys in the Dead. And I mean, they're human beings. They're out here trying to make you love what they're doing. And well done. And the Grateful Dead, the whole scene, the whole vibe is bigger now than it's ever been. It's my pleasure to be part of the Rex Foundation celebration that's going on this past week. I hope you enjoyed everything coming up. And to do a special edition of 420 Live was a total honor. And I want to thank everybody at Rex and Backline and fans.com and all the other sites for helping us out. This has been an amazing life to celebrate. And I celebrate Jerry all the time, and I'm sure everybody else out there does. And they introduced me to AJ Masthay today, and he's my interview, and we're going to talk to him. He's a poster artist. You've seen his work. It's been on T-shirts. It's been on posters. It's been probably on billboards. And let's say hi to AJ. Hi, AJ.
Hey, Jeff. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks.
So, did you ever see Jerry live?
I did. I was an early 90s boy myself. I was in high school at that point. My first show, I don't remember the exact date. I'm sure I could look it up. It was 92, summer 92 at Giant Stadium. Well, okay. So do you count my first show as the first show I attended or the first time that I actually saw the band? Because that first show, I was one of those people that jumped the wall and got kicked out before I even saw Jerry. So I listened to that show from the parking lot. But I did see Jerry. I saw the boys many, many times. Essentially, I graduated high school in 93. And as soon as I went to art school in fall of 93, I basically spent the next 2 years just going to see the Dead as much as I could. That's really when I fell in love with the whole scene and, you know, everything about the Grateful Dead. So I probably got to see them. I don't know the exact number. It was upwards of high 20s, low 30s, something like that. Saw Jerry Band a couple of times. So yeah, I count myself pretty lucky to caught as many as I did when I did.
And the art and the whole look of everything the Dead created in their life was so unique. All their poster art, the artists they work with, Griffin and Stanley Mouse and all these guys, they're Crumb even, they're legends, you know, and you must have been so inspired by those guys, but it must also been a little bit intimidating.
Yeah, I mean, all the big five, you know, like you said, Griffin, Mouse, Moscoso, I mean, Wilson, all those guys, huge influence on me. And, you know, again, everything about the Grateful Dead scene, I mean, visually as an artist, how can you not be influenced by those guys? Yeah, they're huge. Still to this day, is a huge influence on me.
So when you started your early art, I'm sure when you're first learning, it's a little bit different. But when you started doing your stuff for pleasure, were you messing around with those iconic styles to learn to see how each guy worked, or was it more just an influence on you?
More an influence on me. I mean, Rick Griffin for sure. Griffin and Mouse, I would say, the two biggest influences on my work. To be honest, when I went to art school, it was more the like fine art track of things. I went to Hartford Art School here in Connecticut, and great school, got a great education, but it definitely was more geared towards like the gallery side of things. It wasn't so much the commercial art. Right. It really wasn't until I was going to a lot of Fish shows at the time. This was like early 2000s or so. And that's when it kind of clicked for me that like, wait a minute, I'm an artist and I love live music. Maybe this merch, like poster kind of thing could make sense for me. And that's when I really started to put some focus into that. And I made my name, you know, selling work in the lots. I was in Shakedown. Slinging posters, and the next thing you knew, my work started getting out there, and the audience started building, and bands started getting in touch, and the next thing I know, I'm doing stuff for Phil and Further, and yeah.
That's where you kind of started with Phil doing Phil and Friends and Further. Those were your first paid.
Well, so the way I really got introduced to doing official Grateful Dead work was through Headcount. Are you familiar with Headcount?
Headcount, one of my favorites.
I
am constantly putting this banner into fitting it into every interview I can.
Yeah.
So
I'm good friends with the folks at Headcount, and they were putting together an event with Bobby called the Bridge Session. This was back in, I think it was 2012. And basically it was Bobby and members of the National, and Headcount kind of got in touch with me. We're like, hey, we're doing this thing with Bob Weir. Do you want to do a poster for it? And I was like, of course I want to do a poster for it. That'd be epic. And put together this little sketch for him, and it was kind of like the theme was East meets West. So I had like the Golden Gate Bridge with the Brooklyn Bridge, and then one of those magnifying glass things, the binoculars that you put the quarter in, like the tourist thing.
Right, yeah.
That was in the center. And I thought that, like, steal your face and stuff like that was off limits at that point, trademark and all that. And I sent the sketch off, and I believe it was Bobby's manager that saw it and kind of said, well, that binocular thing, it already kind of looks like a steal your face. Why don't you put a steely in there? I was like, I can put a steely in there? Really? Okay. And that was my first official steal your face, my first official thing associated with the band itself. And from that, the art director for Further got in touch, and I started doing stuff for Further. And then Phil and Friends was obviously going strong at that point, and started doing stuff for Phil and Friends. And and Dead and Company, obviously.
Well, Dead and Company, I've seen your imagery before. When as soon as they sent me, I Googled you and I looked at your stuff, and I'm like, duh. I've seen the Fare Thee Well poster right here. I mean, it's such a great look. Now, I read that are these all lino cuts? Is that everything lino cut?
Yeah, pretty much all of the gig poster stuff. They're linoleum block prints. They're called reduction prints, technically. But yeah, it's all hand-carved linoleum block prints that we run here in my studio in Connecticut. I have old letterpress equipment that we run these posters. They're literally handmade, one color at a time, going through the press. Yeah.
So obviously influenced by Jim Pollock.
Yeah, no, Pollock for sure, big influence. Like I said, that moment of clarity for me when I was at a Fish show, looking at their merch booth, and I saw a Pollock poster, and I was like, "That's a real print." I was a printmaking major in school, so I was familiar with block prints and all of that stuff. I was like, "That's a real print, like signed, numbered, the real deal. Like maybe I could do this too."
So that's the way. These are all signed individually on the press and printed out and signed, or do you actually have to, because you're doing so much merch, I guess, do they actually make copies of them?
No, pretty much. Well, it depends. I mean, I try to keep everything that I do produced from my studio. We do have limitations as to how many we can produce in one run here.
Of course.
The medium. So sometimes, like, especially with Dead and Company, when they want me to do like a tour print and they want, 8,000 of them, like I can't do that.
Yes.
But because the actual carving and printing is part of my actual image, I still have to go through the process to get to the final image. So generally in those situations, I'll do a smaller run for myself where I actually do carve and print them here, and then we'll scan that and send it off to a silk screen.
And because there's only so much you can do, and it also gets used in merch and everything else too. So you have to computerize it. Let's see something else here.
Yeah. So yeah, you mentioned the Fare Thee Well, the 50th. That was really when things started to kind of blow up. So yeah, this was another Headcount thing that we teamed up on. This is called Celestial, and this was for, I believe it was 2018 when Dead and Company teamed up with Celestial Teas, the Celestial Seasons, the tea company.
Oh yeah, so he's got the cup of tea there.
Yeah, They wanted to do a special tea called Ramble on Rose that was Headcount was given away. You had to register to vote or whatever it was. And they asked me to do the tea box design for the actual tea, and that's what this came from. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then obviously some of the Dead and Company work that I've done. This was for the City Field.
Flying eyeballs. You got it all there. You got the Uncle Sam, flying eyeballs.
That's the beauty of doing the Grateful Dead stuff. They have 50+ years of this iconography to pull from. And it's the skeletons, the roses, the bears, all that stuff. So much fun to play with, and so the challenge is to kind of make it your own. It's so iconic what Griffin and Mouse and all of these guys did creating this work, but to take it and still make it feel Grateful Dead, but make it your own, it's fun.
Amazing.
And one of the more recent Dead and Companies, this was their Halloween last year at Madison Square Garden.
I love the takeoff on the comic book. I mean,
yeah, it's a mix of like the old Tales from the Crypt comic book, and then just some of the fun like little Looney Tune kind of cartoon stuff going on. Almost like
that must be so much fun for you. It must be so much fun to be a fan and be an artist and be able to mash it up as part of your work.
It's amazing. It's amazing. To this day, I like pinch myself a lot of the times, like as a head. It's just like I can't believe I get to do this stuff for these guys.
That is beautiful.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Oh, of course.
Oh man.
So yeah, a few years back, the Garcia estate got in touch with me, and they had this idea for the tune Palm Sunday, taking the lyrics from Palm Sunday and somehow weaving it into a visual image. And my thought was initially the first sketch that I sent them was just Jerry's aviators, the iconic aviators, with the reflection of the song talks about red mountains and a white river, and I forget exactly what the lyrics were at this point, but in the aviators I had that in the reflection. They were like, we were looking for something a little more literal portrait of Jerry, and that's where this came from.
Wow.
So
the detail in that beard is absolutely next level.
Yeah, I made a little like psychedelic choral kind of thing going on in there. But this was originally a t-shirt design that they put out. I think you can still get it from the Garcia site. But
I love it. And
thanks. Yeah, it took me a little while, but I eventually convinced them to let me run a print edition of it as well, and that's what you're seeing here. This is
absolutely incredible. I mean, I wish we had all day to talk, but I know there's a lot of other people on today, and I have a little story I want to tell too. So I appreciate you coming on. Your work is incredible, and we should swap out. Pick a print you like of mine, and I'll pick a print I like yours, and maybe we'll do a little trade.
Yeah, we could do a trade for sure. Yeah, no, this was a pleasure, Jeff. Thank you so much.
Thanks, AJ. I look forward to seeing you in person somewhere fun soon.
No doubt. Take care.
Thank you. AJ Masthay, I mean, true talent there. And this, I got to put that up one more time. I mean, here's the man. This is what it's all about. Jerry Garcia. He changed many, many a life. And I was fortunate enough to get in there and see enough of the Dead. And I'm going to share a couple of my pictures I've taken over the years. I got to be honest with you. I'm not Jay Blakesberg. I'm a lot taller. And I wasn't taking my camera to Dead shows. In the beginning, I would be out in the lot and shoot with my friends and everything, hanging out, and put the camera away because I was experimenting in many ways. And I didn't want to take my valuable cameras into the shows and drop them or kick them. But I did shoot a couple shows. I knew the importance of what was going on. And every year, 92, 93, 94, 95, I tried to get Jerry into my lens. And I was successful. But the whole scene that you would see at these shows was absolutely something incredible. This is Oregon, home of the Ducks, Eugene, Oregon. And you'd go see the Dead in Oregon. It was one of the only places that allowed 3-day camping in the parking lot. The whole place, look at that, to the rafters filled. Yeah, the trees on the outside. The area underneath that shaded part was where the friends and family section was, where I met my good friend Ziggy and many people. It was such a warm place to go to Eugene and see the shows and be up there. It was a ton of fun. And this is what the stage looked like in that tour. We went down to the floor and I grabbed this shot. And I love the trees. You can just see the trees everywhere. This picture is from Arizona towards the end of, I think it was one of the last Dead shows I shot in '94. Here's the band together. This was the day I met Garcia on the treadmill. And you can see Jerry looks a little tired up there from working out. He definitely might have put a mile or two too much on there. But actually these shows, in Seattle were some of the better shows. There was an amazing Scarlet Fire. I know I say that and I go back and listen to it, but there was something going on. Jerry had some new effects he was playing with. You know, the healthiest I saw Jerry was 92. He was really looking great. And I got the serious look right there, the serious Garcia look. And I also got the smile with him just gassing on Weir over there doing his thing. This was Tempe. We had to leave our cars on the side of the road. It was such a shit show getting into this venue. And we had to walk through fields, and we missed I got there the first set. We hadn't eaten our shrooms yet. So I remember walking and eating shrooms, and the band's on stage, and people look at us like, it's a little late for the drugs, kid. I'm like, hey, it is what it is. We got caught in traffic. It was a day. And I might have told you the story before about I went to go see the Grateful Dead, and you could bring your camera into the show. And I went up to Dennis McNally to get in the pit. And then I told Dennis I work for Rolling Stone, and Dennis was like, bullshit. So I showed up the next time I went to see them, which was the Mardi Gras run at Oakland Coliseum. I brought my portfolio of all my Rolling Stone shots. And I'm like, here, why? He's like, why are you showing me this? Like, you questioned my veracity. So, and he goes, you want to shoot the Grateful Dead, get your camera and be back here in 10 minutes. And I got this shot of Jerry. Jerry was not, you know, he was leaning down. This was like kind of the look he had there in 94 and 95. And it was sad to see the deterioration happen. And here you see him in Arizona. This is during Stella Blue. And you can actually see that, you know, he's kind of worn out at this point, and it was really sad. And when you think of that, he was only 53 years old and left our plane. But looks like this. I mean, I'm not bragging right now, but I'm 58. And I'm like, I feel like I'm 14. So it's kind of hard. It's important. It's a different generation. We take care of ourselves differently. But we all wish Jerry was still here. This is the Seattle show after the post treadmill show. And, you know, then Jerry left us. And I went to San Francisco to Golden Gate Park. And this picture I took from where Jerry would be standing because they created a stage. And I went during the Fire on the Mountain that they were playing through the speaker system there, and stood where Jerry would have been if he was there, to just feel the love and to feel the adoration coming off the crowd. I mean, I wasn't Jerry. They didn't know what I was doing, but I was putting myself where he would be on stage and looking out across the crowd. And that's where I took this photograph. And it was absolutely a moment that I'll never forget. And I just brought a point and shoot to this. Again, I wasn't there to like cover this as a photographer. I was here as a fan. I'd been in Fiji. I was in Fiji on vacation with my wife on our honeymoon. And I got home and my friend picked us up from the airport. And it was August, I believe, 15th. And he saw the big smile on my face and my tan. And he's like, you don't have no idea what happened to you. And I'm like, no, what? And he said the words that changed my life. Jerry Garcia died. And I'm like, what? And then 2 days later, I got on a plane. I flew up to this event and caught this. And then afterwards, the guys in the Dead, they were kind of wandering around. Here's Mark Karen and Bobby doing the Rat Dog thing. Here's Joan Osborne with Phil and Bobby as part of the Dead when they toured as the Dead at Bonnaroo in 2000, I believe 2002. Here's Bobby and Phil backstage. Look at these guys. Phil, I believe, might have been a little bit older than Jerry. And look how great Phil looks here in his 50s. And here's one of my favorite pictures here with Trey in the middle of these two guys. And at this point, they hadn't even, 2002. Yeah, they played together in 99, I guess, Phil and Trey, when they did those shows in April. And here's Bobby and Phil at Bonnaroo, 2003. I think they were there almost every year, those first 3 years. And here's when Warren was part of Dead in the Dead project. And here is, I think, one of the greatest drummers to play the catalog of the Grateful Dead. I mean, they were so lucky to get Joe Russo to come in to be able to play with them and to propel Further. And part of the pleasure I had in going to see Further was just watching Joe Russo play those drums like a octopus. He was literally like two drummers in one. He's like four drummers in one. I've never saw the approach. I don't know if you know Joe Russo's story, but Joe was not a Deadhead, did not grow up with the music, was sent an audition, was sent 60 or 70 songs by Phil and asked to come to San Francisco and try out. and he and Chimete and Cadaleke, John got the gigs to play in Further, which was a 4-year project named after named after the bus, the Further bus. And I have a picture of Keezy driving the bus. Of course, could I find it while I'm in New York or New Jersey? No. This is the Comes a Time benefit with Trey and Jimmy Herring. I mean, there's a power duo on guitar. I mean, the two of these guys on stage together, that was something to see. That was at the Greek Theater. Comes a Time benefit with all the guys from the Dead. And then we had Pete Shapiro. We saw AJ's shot from the GD50. This was one of the most incredible moments of my life. I was high as a kite. I hadn't taken a picture of the entire set. I sat there just with the my blood rushing and not knowing where I was or what was going on, but enjoying the music and enjoying being around my friends. And I saw the sky go pink. I reached down between my legs and pulled out the camera that was in the bag at my feet. And I did not take my eye off the sky the whole time because I was afraid that I was hallucinating. And I pulled the camera up and I snapped this and I looked in the back of the camera to make sure the shot was real. And I was like, wow, that's Garcia. That's his nod. He's telling us, yes, celebrate me. And as we know, what happened over those past 3 days wasn't the end. It was not the end. Let Trace sing, Bobby. It was the beginning, and it opened up a whole new chapter of Grateful Dead and Dead and Company. And, you know, this is Dead and Company in Los Angeles. Here they are at Bonnaroo. They got at it really, really quick. AJ, is that one of yours? No. And here they are, I think Irvine Meadows. And, you know, Dead and Company has done an amazing job of harnessing the energy of the Grateful Dead and bringing it to a new generation. And my hat's off to John Mayer for continuing the tradition. I didn't think he'd be able to do it. I got to be honest. I'm not going to pull any punches here. I was like, John Mayer's going to play Grateful Dead music? No, I knew John Mayer was a great guitarist, but I knew he also wasn't a psychedelic guy because I've met him before. My brother knew him for many years, going down to Atlantic City to the casinos. So I'd hung with John, and John was not into the same kind of partying, but everybody can change. Everybody's open to it. It's amazing someone who's been a solo artist and never had to answer anybody himself is to come in and learn a catalog like he did and bring Jerry to everybody all over the country and to open it up for new generations. And they're making more money than ever. So nobody's pissed off about it. But I have to say, my favorite post-Grateful Dead project is J-Rad. I think that these guys hit that music. It's like garage band rock and roll meets the Grateful Dead. And I just love their approach. Again, you're dealing with a bunch of musicians that never played Grateful Dead music. I think Tom Hamilton was the only one in the band that was actually knew the catalog and knew how to play it. And boy, he's fantastic. And you know, all these guys, Dave, Scott, Marco, and am I missing anybody? Joe. I mean, they're just absolutely incredible players. So I love what's happened to the music. I love where we are, that we still celebrate Jerry Garcia all the time. I'm still listening to him every day at some point in my day. I'm mixing it up, you know. I try to listen to everything. You know, the Dead led me to Fish, led me to shooting fish, and led me to it's really hard to shoot fish because they're under the water, you know, and sometimes the bullets refract when they hit the water. But working with Fish and working with Bonnaroo and all these things that led some matter of fun into my life where music was my business, you know, working with MTV and doing all these radio promo things and working with all these companies, record labels. It was a job, and it was like it was the same show every day, and that sense of adventure was not there. And when the adventure to the music, when the Grateful Dead showed me how music could be adventurous, when I got inside Garcia's brain, literally, it was a revelation, and it led to me having a very fulfilled life musically, which I really appreciated. And I know we all have this big hole right here where the music used to go. But, we have events like we've been doing this whole week, bringing the music to you. We have all the broadcasts coming up, the Shakedown stream, the One More Saturday Night. I mean, thank you to all the bands for stepping up and getting us some of the shots, their catalog. If you saw the Egypt video they played a couple last week, I mean, the Grateful Dead, we were lucky. We're lucky lightning happened. Lightning struck right across our heads, into our brains, and out the other side. God bless the Grateful Dead. God bless Jerry Garcia. God bless all of you. Thank you so much. You want more of me? I'm on Monday to Friday, 4:20 p.m. Pacific time, bringing you a little bit of distraction from the reality of what's going on. So you can tune in, check us out. Make sure you contribute to the Rex Foundation, Backline. These are the organizations that keep our musicians sane in these times. I appreciate you all. Thank you for inviting me out to do this. Thank you, AJ, for coming on today and sharing your art with us. Jerry Garcia, where would we be without you? Peace, love, happiness, everybody out there. A big hug, a big 420 live hug to all my friends, all you deadheads, all us music lovers, all us fans that make music what it is and make life what it is. I can't wait till we're back at a show. I would go see your mom play Grateful Dead music right now. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. 420 Live. We'll be here. Come join us. Have a great day. Happy birthday, Jerry. I would go see your mom play Grateful Dead music. I got choked up watching it again. Jeez, hold on. Let me stop sharing this here for a minute. Wow, that was, I don't sit here watching myself like that, so it was very bizarre. And I guess Jerry hit us all right where it hits. So, to reiterate, thank you. The support, the love. I got little tears going. Anyway, I'm taking the day off tomorrow because today was a heavy day. No, I'm taking the day off tomorrow. I'm traveling down to see my cousin down in Maryland and spend a little time having a little summer fun. I'll be back on Tuesday. Dialing the guests. I know we have Mike Dillon coming on this week, and I'm talking to a couple people, massaging the place, everything in line. So, as far as the business goes, we saw our friend Smashers today. Jeff and Natalie came over, brought me some of the chocolate bars. This is going to be a work in progress. I'm really excited. Jeff's like, hey, we could change it every time. So I want to try to figure out a way to deliver these things without you guys having to buy all that chocolate. Everybody's like, Kravitz, I got $60 worth of chocolate now in my house. How am I going to eat all this? And I say, just bring it over right here. Deliver it to me in Margate, and I will take care of it. Head count. You know what we got to do, folks. Go in there. You got to make sure that you're listed because they've been purging those voter rolls. And Rex Foundation, thank you for having me. It was an honor. I'm not going to, all right, peace, love, happiness. I can't give enough hugs to everybody out there. I just, it's what it is. And everybody enjoy your rest of your Sunday. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm going to, oh, look. I'm done work. Contribute to Rex. Thanks for tuning in to 420 Live. I'd like to thank everybody for the New York Sour Diesel. It's really been a treat to be tasting those flavors of the East Coast. You get the Sour Diesel in LA, but unless I get it from AJ. All right, everybody. Ooh, have a good night. Peace. Love. Oh, love you too there, Hillary. Take care. Yeah, you see, I get this stuff gets to me. I sat there watching myself and getting choked up and maybe get choked up watching it. I'm like, oh, shit. And yes, I'm excited for that. That Chicago show just jumps out of your speakers from the punch you in the eye on down. So, yes, I will. I'll take care of it all for you guys. I wonder if I got time for a swim before dinner. That ocean is something else here. I'm just going to sit here and puff it out with you guys. That's how the show started. I was like, I can get high with everybody online. Do you think that would work? Do you think that would work? And it started me, but like now I just don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. All right, everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you.